I was born on Mother's Day, and I like to think that God allowed this because the desire to be a mom was always there, but so was my need to be nurtured. My parents divorced when I was 5. As a comfort, my favorite make-believe game became marriage and family. I had a husband, I cooked, taught our kids right from wrong, and we were always together. I started struggling with my weight in elementary school, and by the time I was 14, I was obese, depressed, and told I'd never have kids due to mounting health problems. Still, I had this determination that God was more powerful than my doctors. Looking back now, I see clearly that it was the breaking down of my life that saved my life. By the time I was 29, I'd been married for 7 years and had given birth to 5 children. Poor nutrition and health had me in a holding pattern of postpartum depression. The stress of increasingly limited resources pushed me to the edge as I tried to keep up with a full-time job and care for my family. I didn't know where to turn and eventually became so detached from my identity as a woman, a wife, and a mother that I separated myself from my family. I became homeless, jobless, and soon after divorced. It was a call from my 94-year-old grandfather at my lowest point that opened the door for me to return to Kansas City to complete CDL training with the support from the St. Rita program. My hope was that this would give me the space and resources to master the root causes affecting my health and allow God to restore me to becoming the woman and mom I wanted to be. When my training coordinator learned I needed money for my DMV test, a physical exam, and car repairs that threatened my ability to complete training, she encouraged me to go to Catholic Charities for help. What happened next was nothing shy of God's promise in Scripture to meet our needs in an exceedingly abundant way. As Rachel asked questions and listened to more of my story, little did I know that the relief about to shower upon me and my family would be profound and far-reaching. I received the funds to complete my CDL training and so much more. The St. Rita program helped me to reclaim the dignity of employment sufficient to meet my needs and goals while supporting me nutritionally with fresh produce while my income was low. Meanwhile, intermittent fasting, Bible study, and spiritual devotion were doing wonders to my mind, body, and soul. Even harder to quantify is how invaluable it was to be relieved of burdens and stress for my children, like Christmas gifts through the toy drive, trips to the food pantry, gas cards, visits to the clothing closet, free zoo tickets to help celebrate birthdays, and a mommy-son date with my 10-year-old nature-loving son, who described it as the best day ever. My experience with Catholic Charities was one of the church becoming the hands and feet of God in action as my life grew stable and hopeful. I cannot describe how grateful I felt on the first day of school this year to have purchased my children's attire and school supplies completely out of pocket. This sense of value and dignity was priceless because God was blessing the work of my hands. When my grandfather's air conditioner went out over summer, I was able to lift this burden for him and help pay for its replacement. He describes my homecoming as the return of the prodigal. With solid ground under my feet, I was even inspired to take classes online for a bachelor's degree, studying government and law while maintaining a 4.0 and making the president's list at the university. Through this experience and in working with Rachel, I began to see that my deepest foundational need was to be restored as a daughter of God. I just needed to allow myself to be aided and nurtured. I'm now taking RCIA classes and looking forward to becoming a Catholic this Easter. All along, Jesus was ministering to that little girl inside of the grown woman with all my high hopes and ambition. Although I didn't always know what I needed, I'll be forever grateful that He did.